SCP-8054 Lingua Veritas. Object Class Esoteric. Special Containment Procedures. Any access to SCP-8054 must be meticulously logged, specifying the time, duration, purpose, and the identities of personnel accessing it. Transcriptions, whether digital or manual, from SCP-8054's contents are strictly prohibited unless expressly sanctioned for research purposes. Authorized research endeavors involving SCP-8054 require pre-approval from a minimum of 2 Level 4 personnel and should be performed in Isolation Chamber IC-8054-A. SCP-8054 is to be stored in a high-security vault and must be kept free of any computer hardware or digital interfaces. Despite the current inactivity of SCP-8054's anomalous properties, stringent operational and access protocols are to be maintained. This includes specialized training for security personnel assigned to SCP-8054, focusing on detection and countering of reality-bending anomalies. Any unsanctioned activation, distribution, or transcription of Veritas code is regarded as a containment breach. In the event of such a breach, Site-46 is to undergo an immediate lockdown. Mobile Task Force Row O, Technical Support, should be mobilized to decode and neutralize any potentially executed Veritas code sequences. Description: SCP-8054 consists of 3 distinct manuals titled Lingua Veritas, Volumes 1 through 3. These manuals serve as comprehensive guides to an anomalous programming language dubbed Veritas Code. At a cursory glance, Veritas Code borrows syntactical structures from conventional object-oriented programming languages. However, its functions, operators, and data structures directly interact with and manipulate reality rather than a digital environment. Veritas Code's capability to enact tangible alterations in the physical realm range from simple object manipulation, such as transmuting materials, to complex spatial and temporal alterations. Veritas Code was observed displaying the ability to rewind localized time, to alter gravitational constants within confined areas, to dictate existence or non-existence of matter, and more. Extremely intricate codes, especially those attempting to rewrite large swaths of reality, were noted to have a higher failure rate. However, the current dormant state of SCP-8054 stands in stark contrast to its formerly limitless abilities. The possibility of its reactivation, while speculated, remains unverified. Addendum: SCP-84-1 Discovery Log. Several months prior to the Foundation's direct involvement, local residents of the Redacted region recounted witnessing brief, inexplicable flashes of light from the vicinity of the Redacted research facility. Intermittent electrical blackouts and auditory disturbances, including harmonious hums and rhythmic beats, were reported in the surrounding area. During passive surveillance, Foundation agents observed multiple anomalous events over the course of several months. The manifestation and demanifestation of several sentient orbs of light, unexpected shifts in local gravity, and time distortions among others. Preliminary investigations revealed the facility's ownership linked to a private research entity founded by Dr. Elena Novak. Dr. Novak, a prodigious computational physicist, was globally recognized for her pioneering work in quantum programming and reality simulation. She had previously authored a myriad of groundbreaking papers and had been invited to countless symposiums around the world. 6 years prior, Dr. Novak had receded from public engagements, leading many to speculate she had immersed herself in an undisclosed ambitious project. Factoring in the potential scale of the anomaly and Dr. Novak's involvement, a decision was made for the Foundation to intervene directly. Upon the containment team's arrival, the main lab was found to be in meticulous order, with equipment neatly arranged and no signs of hurried departure. However, meticulous notes detailing a shutdown procedure lay adjacent to the terminals, and each terminal exhibited extensive log entries. Notably, the final line of these logs prominently flashed an error message in bright red text. Critical error. Null sequence activated. Execution of Veritas code denied. Dr. Novak and her team were conspicuously absent, but SCP-8054 in her detailed field journal, shedding light on her experiments and ambitions with Veritas code, were recovered. The facility, now under the Foundation's purview, remains a focal point of research and investigation into the disappearance of Dr. Novak and her team. Addendum: SCP-8054-2 Journal entries of Dr. Elena Novak. Note: the following journal entries have been curated for dissemination. Access to additional entries requires a formal request and approval from at least 2 Level 4 researchers and the Site-46 director. Entry: SCP-8054-1 The keyboard I'm currently typing on was once white, now it's black. I did not paint or dye the keyboard, it's just black now. No chemical reaction took place to change its color. I simply changed it with the click of a button. Lingua Veritas. In Latin, veritas connotes truth or reality, an axiom encapsulated in Harvard University's succinct motto. Yet, even the collective intellect of such an esteemed institution may falter before the infinite potential stored within these texts. Even my extensive career could not have prepared me for something so unreal. The possibilities with Veritas code are seemingly endless, its capabilities verging on the divine. Hell, I could, in a keystroke, expunge the very notion of deity from the human consciousness. Matter can be created and destroyed, and the flow of time can be commanded and bend to one's will. Anything one could possibly imagine could become reality. What if we could rewrite the laws of nature, eradicate diseases, or even reverse environmental degradation? Having faced adversity and hardships in my own life, I am acutely aware of the struggles that plague humanity. I was raised in a region rife with war, and I witnessed firsthand the devastation wrought by petty conflicts. No one deserves to experience the same loss and suffering that I did. At one point, I could only imagine a world free from disease and poverty, where humans could coexist with the environment and with each other. These are not merely dreams anymore, but aspirations waiting to be realized through the transformative power of Veritas code. However, I know that things are never so simple. Actions often have adverse reactions, and I must constantly remind myself of that when working with Veritas code. The most innocuous scripts could create ripples throughout reality, unintentionally creating profound ramifications. That said, I am not without intention. Veritas code has fallen into my hands, and I plan to use it, wisely or not at all. Entry: SCP-8054-2 The gravity of Veritas code's implications has become even more apparent. After the execution of one of our scripts, our terminal's log stated the experiment's purpose: a simple relocation of one researcher from one end of the room to the other. The team member was not relocated or displaced. They were completely erased from existence itself. We did not, and still don't, have even a lingering memory of our colleague in our consciousness. Flickering green text on a screen was all that was left behind. Despite our best efforts, we were unable to reverse executed code. Damn, I wish I could feel sad for them, but I don't even remember who they were. It's like a hollow ache, devoid of the visceral grief one might expect when losing a loved one. In its place rests an unsettling numbness and an immense amount of guilt. We did even worse than just killing them. Entry: SCP-8054-3. I am immensely proud of the dedication and ingenuity displayed by my esteemed research team throughout the course of Project Genesis. As a proof of concept, we have conducted a series of tests across remote communities spanning various countries, each tailored to address specific challenges. From resource redistribution to combating climate change, eradicating diseases to optimizing agricultural practices, our experiments have yielded promising results, with successful executions and minimal adverse effects. Witnessing the tangible impact of our efforts fills me with unparalleled joy. To see communities thrive, their burdens alleviated, and their futures secured is a testament to the transformative power of Veritas Code. With each successful test, the once elusive notion of an ideal world no longer seems confined to the realm of fantasy. We stand on the precipice of Project Genesis's completion, and that fills me with optimism, knowing that our work holds the promise of a better future for generations to come. Entry: SCP-8054-4. I don't even know where to begin. The aftermath of our experiments with Veritas Code is infuriating, to say the least. Every single problem we thought we solved, two more sprang up in its place. We tried to eradicate the virus Redacted from one of the test communities, for example. Sure, we succeeded in wiping out the virus, but other infections surged, exploiting the weakened immune systems of the population. It was nearly impossible to contain all the outbreaks, and many of them quickly became deadly. And our attempts at climate stabilization? You'd think that adjusting a few parameters here and there would do the trick, right? Wrong. Instead of just mitigating, let alone reversing, the effects of climate change, we inadvertently triggered freak weather events. We may have even caused a mass extinction event in the environments near the testing area. I thought Veritas Code was going to be the answer, that I could use its power to shape the world into something better. But now I'm thinking that it'll only make things worse using it. Every success is marred by a dozen failures, and for every life we've saved, it feels like we've ended countless others. I used to believe in the power of science to solve humanity's problems, but now I'm not so sure. Maybe some things are better left untouched. Maybe some crudely coded computer program isn't the answer. I need to reevaluate everything. Figure out where we went wrong and how we can make it right. But for now, all I can do is stew in my own frustration and regrets. Entry: SCP-8054-5. As I sit here, reflecting on the actions that brought me to this point, I can't help but feel regret. Regret for the lives lost, for the havoc wreaked, and for the naive belief that I could play God with Veritas Code. The experiments, the failures, the consequences, they've all weighed so heavily on me. I wanted to change the world, to make it a better place. And I always knew that it wouldn't be that easy, but I pressed on, confident that it would overcome the odds. I was wrong. After all, Veritas Code gives the wielder the power of a god, but we're not gods. We're just people. We can't understand the vast complexities of the world on such a divine level. Veritas Code gave me the ability to reshape reality, to right the wrongs of the world with the stroke of a key. But true change doesn't come from some crazy old books and an outdated programming language. It comes from the will of humanity, from the tireless efforts of people working together to make a difference. My team and I, with the funds we had saved for Project Genesis, worked endlessly to right our wrongs. The communities we tested on were in ruins, but with our own hands, we rebuilt them. We invested in them, and we worked with them. We transformed desolation into prosperity, reclaiming flooded lands, replenishing forests, and pioneering medical breakthroughs to combat the ailments we had inadvertently created. For better or worse, Project Genesis, the culmination of my life's work, is over. After weeks of hesitation, I've disabled Veritas Code, and have implemented the null sequence to ensure that it remains out of the hands of those that would wield it for their own needs. It's a small gesture, perhaps, but it's the best I can do to atone for my mistakes. The future will always be uncertain, but I hold on to hope that humanity will find its way, that we will learn from our mistakes and strive to create a better world. And so, I pose a question to you. Whoever may be reading this, how are you going to change the world? Thank you for listening to SCP-8054, Lingua Veritas, by Geminid Strix. If you enjoyed this SCP, please like and subscribe and leave a comment below. Also, follow the link in the description to the SCP Wiki and vote up the article to support the author and the SCP Wiki as a whole. Also a special shout out to all my YouTube members: Powerless, Last of the Four Horsemen, Stephanie Miller, Senescence, Crescent Wolf, Salzy, Chinese Modelo, Nerodia, Adrian McCarran, Eli Shoup, Brandon Henry, Sanjaya Anthem, Arkham Cookie, Purple Durple 85, Tanis Ruler of All, Thomas Marks, Hozap 3, A Bumblebee, Azastrol, Brian Harper, Killer SSG 41, Kenzie Genus, William Philbrook, Piper Landry, and True Stiltskin. Thank you for your support. If you would also like to have a shout out, please follow the link in the description. YouTube memberships of Confidential will have access to Saturday members only videos, and all members will have early access to videos. If you'd like to support the channel directly and also receive a shout out, please follow the Ko-Fi link.